Alright, so, last time on Pokemon FireRed, this stuff happened.
$10,000 on potions.
You know, I'm pretty sure I have not bought potions up to this point for the most part, so I was like, I should probably do that. Also, apparently I stood here for a while. Tim sure was full of tough trainers. Let me just think of those tough trainers. Many strong trainers await me. And then we won handily. I do appreciate that the recap was far less exciting than the actual episode. But we're done with that, meaning it's time to move on. We've got all 8 gym badges, so it's time to go face the Pokemon League. We're back on Route 22, and as it turns out, having a bit of a nostalgic fight. Way back when we encountered Hideki here, and he only had a Pidgey and a Bulbasaur. That fight was optional, this one is not, and he has improved quite a bit since back then. And so, rival Hideki with his full-ass team of Pokemon is going to start with a Pidgeot. He will of course have the Pidgeot no matter what starter you started with, so you're always going to be facing this thing. Thankfully, Candy can just ram into it a whole lot, and there's not much Pidgeot can really do about it.
It's time for a combo. Whoa. That was a double strength rollout.
Yeah, so you might have noticed, but I'm still kind of 10 levels behind everything.
This is what happens when you make level grinding a pain in the ass, Game Freak.
Yeah. I mean, I could have used a smaller pool of Pokemon, but, you know, I want to show off a whole lot of Pokemon. Thankfully, grinding is a lot better in the more recent games, like Pokemon Sword, where I've recently decided to thin down the number of Pokemon I'm using, and I'm still using a lot, but you know what? Getting them up to speed is not a problem at all. It is in fact enjoyable. Anyway, this Venusaur is level 53. Prepare to die, me. Thankfully, Venusaur is making it smell real good in this area. And I'm just preparing a substitute. There's nothing particularly deadly that this Venusaur has. In fact, I feel like I would have taken less damage from that Razor Leaf if I had just tanked it, but who knows, maybe not. I'm actually not entirely sure that 16 level gap is kind of significant.
Yeah. Substitute was always one of those weirder moves that I never really used.
I've been trying to use it. So, anyway, here's Gyarados. Gyarados, of course, appears in his Bulbasaur and Squirtle, or, like, when you start with those two Pokemon, he'll have a Gyarados. Of course, if he started with a Blastoise and you started with a Charmander, he's got that Blastoise, he doesn't need a Water type. Which, I feel like this Gyarados is actually pretty crucial to his team for reasons, so, you know, as it turns out, it's actually probably the least canon out of all 3 options to go with Charmander. Who would imagine? Alright, so his Rhyhorn is another Pokemon that will be on all of his teams, because there ain't a rockin' ground starter. There's nothing too terribly bad about his Rhyhorn, unless for some reason you're taking a bird into this. Alakazam, of course, is also on every team and also always scary.
I'm just thinking about how, like, relatively more complicated his team composition is for Pokemon Yellow, where that's determined by, like, what fights you lose, or if you don't even bother having one of the fights. Actually, now that I said it, I think it's just based on the first fight in Route 22. Whether you win, lose, or don't do it.
Well, that is actually kind of neat then, because, you know, as an optional battle, it's alright. Just, hey, here's a tougher fight with your rival you can do early on if you want. But having it be a determining factor is actually pretty good. Anyway, Curse actually really helped.
I know it factors some way, but I can't remember exactly how. I might have been completely wrong with what I just suggested.
Well, if you are wrong, then your idea's better. Alright, Growlithe, of course, appears on 2/3 of his teams, but not the one where he starts with a Charizard and you start with a Bulbasaur, because then he's just got a Charizard. And thankfully, I'm actually pretty close in levels, so Growlithe is nothing before me. And now, at last, his cowardly Venusaur returns. This cowardly 16-level superior Venusaur. Yes, clearly I'm the one who should be, gloating here. Okay, so, as it turns out, Substitute, super helpful.
Also, just to round it out, if he didn't have a Venusaur, he'd have an Execute, right?
Yep.
Or an Executor.
It's still an Execute by this point.
That's weird, because with the Gyarados teams, he'll always have that evolved Gyarados.
Well, yeah, because he's not going to have a Magikarp.
Yeah, but that means if he has a Blastoise, he has, like, a slightly weaker team. Because instead of having a Gyarados and an unevolved elemental type, he just has a Blastoise and 2 unevolved Pokemon.
To be fair, if he has a Blastoise, that means he doesn't have a Pokemon that's quad weak to electric, so...
I like how if you don't come here first, you don't get any context for this. Just, oh, that's a Boulder Badge.
Alright, so this is probably not one of the most efficient badge checkers in the series, though it does have its advantages. In that there are eventually grass spots. Not for a while, though, so you couldn't be blamed if you didn't ever want to bother with this. Here, though, there's a surf spot, so if you have up to the rainbow badge, then you can at least get a few water types. You get blocked off if you don't have the soul badge, though. So, most of these are just like, there's one guard who checks all your badges and then like some cool stairs appear or something. Oh hey, and we actually have a new Pokemon. So, Arbok here is a big vicious snake. Not a bad idea to come here early if you want one of these, or, you know, you could just evolve an Ekans.
Using Magnitude for a Pokemon you're gonna catch is risky business.
Yeah, you don't say. Oh fuck, look at that pattern, I'm getting out of here.
I like the implication that it's the pattern scaring them and not the, fucking Arbok.
I will say, though, I do like the music and just, like, general look of this area. It looks pretty rad. What isn't rad, though, is Victory Road. Every game's gotta have a Victory Road. And unfortunately, in the early games, it's usually just a cave. I hope you like strength puzzles, cause that's Victory Road. I like that this doesn't even have its own theme. So like you get that really cool build-up with that unique song and the long walk to Victory Road itself. And then it's just the usual cave theme and then this. I appreciate the Hoenn Victory Road theme. Maybe not for the theme in of itself, it's an alright song. I do kind of prefer the Brawl version. It's a cool song. So that's Dragonclaw. You're going to want to pick up that TM. Of course, if you want to get the other Pokeball, you gotta leave and come back. I may or may not do that later. Alright, are you ready for my combination of Fox and Bigger Fox? Oh, well.
Say now, physically you can win this fight, but emotionally...
Oh yeah, by the way, Ace Trainers of course can use potions, much like Pokemon Rangers can. High-level trainers can usually use items, so, gym leaders, cool trainers, stuff like that. So, me trying to style on her at last second was, maybe not the best idea. This might be a little bit hubris right here.
It always sucks when enemies play by the same rules as you.
How dare you? I was trying to style on you, Ninetales, and you do this to me. How dare you? Well, that's where my Pokemon journey ends. Oh yeah, I should mention that the other item you could get over there, I think is a rare candy. So that's why I went for Dragonclaw, since that's unique. Though, to be fair, rare candies would kinda help me.
So he just has a Charizard, I guess.
Yep. Always with this.
Every time. Oh, hey.
Well, on the bright side, I tried to style on one Pokemon and inadvertently styled on a different one. You fool, you utter imbecile. While it is impressive that this man has all three starters, he clearly has a preference. And that preference wasn't that Wartortle. Oh, actually, he's just got an extra Charmeleon. Why? Just really likes Charizard. He wanted two of them. Normally I prefer Pokemon Red, but I guess this is the exception. Alright, well, goodbye. Alright, well, I hope you didn't get too bored by all of those Pokemon fights, because it's back to strength puzzles. I'm so glad Spaghetti has to be here, so I can only have 5 Pokemon in the final dungeon. That's real fun.
If only you were playing Let's Go. then you can imagine it was an Eevee pushing all these blocks around.
Yeah, I did want to use more of, like, my lesser used Pokemon, or the ones who aren't going to appear in the Pokemon League Challenge, but I kinda had to have Spaghetti take up a slot, and Turtle Misu had to be here for Surf, so, you know, not much I could do about that. I think I've mentioned this before, but I would prefer if HMs just, like, had their own specific slot, or, like, once you unlocked an HM ability, any Pokemon that could use it would just have it without needing a battle slot for it. Just because traversing the world with your Pokemon is a really cool idea, but in practice it just forces you to use specific Pokemon, and then, let's be honest, most of the time, waste a move slot. Like, who wants to use cuts? If it weren't an HM, nobody would keep it.
I know what you're talking about. I definitely want a worse version of Slash on my Pokemon.
Do you want a weaker and less crit heavy Slash? Alright, here's Cut.
Yeah, again, Let's Go probably has the best traversal with Pokemon in it. Because some of them are just big enough that you can ride. That's always cool.
Yeah, that's great. I love the Kangaskhan.
I love the Snorlax one where you just hang onto its belly. Like it's Totoro. Let's Go also made Victory Road more interesting by having actually decent Pokemon on it.
Yeah.
Or rather, interesting Pokemon on it, I should say.
Yeah, let's see, what's this game got? This one's got Arbok or Sandslash. Oh, the Zubat line can appear here. Oh, I'm sure everybody's real disappointed that I cut out all of the Zubats and Golbats I ran into.
I think
Machop,
the
Macho.
Machops and the Geodudes.
Yep, Geodude, but not a Graveler, though. There is Onix, and there is Marowak. See, second floor. Still no Graveler. Can't find a Primeape, though.
Let's Go. You can catch Hitmonchans and Hitmonlees here.
Oh wow, that's rad.
They're a hidden behind catch streaks, so you just have to catch a whole bunch of Geodudes or Zubats in a row until they pop up, but then they'll pop up. And due to the way catch streak mechanics work, they're guaranteed to have pretty good stats.
Cool. Apparently you can get Chansey on the
Oh yeah,
first floor.
you can get Chansey on like almost every single route in the game through the catch streak mechanic.
Oh, you can get Rhyhorn Rhydon. They kept a certain thing. We'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, Hitmonlees and Hitmonchans. I guess, you know, without Tyrogue, it makes sense.
And if they're gonna be anywhere, it would make sense for them to be here.
Yeah.
They want a good fight. This is the best place to get a good fight in the whole region.
Just every Hitmonlee or Hitmonchan you run into is an anime rival.
Or the Scout from Team Fortress 2.
So, one potential problem with Victory Road is Eevee Mame is just too good at it, and you know, this is kind of a crucial point for getting experience.
I like how you're worried about Eevee Mami getting overleveled, meanwhile they're on the same level as every enemy you're fighting.
I know, and every other Pokemon is far under it.
Anyways, this dude only has one Pokemon on his team and it's a Mr. Mime. Fuck this guy.
This Mr. Mime that got a quad slap from a double slap, how dare you? And then encouraged me to keep using the same move. Okay, thanks. That really didn't work out in your favor, huh? Wasn't a good idea to get me to try that one again, huh, Gregory? Well, understandable. It is kinda boring on this route. I forget what Gen 5's Victory Road is like, but I actually really like the Pokemon X one because that wasn't just a cave. Granted, there was still cave there, but it actually had like some outside sections. It had some of the trappings of the early game Victory Roads, but still, they at least shook it up a little bit. Well damn, that's actually pretty good. Hats off to you, Arcanine.
You did it, you bit a rock.
And that was somehow a good idea. It is the wild thing about Bite being a Dark-type move once, Dark-type existed. Just, hey, it's actually better to use this move on Rock-types.
Yeah, Dark-type moves have an internal consistency, but once they start, having to actually affect Pokemon, it gets a little screwy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the moves that actually use the power of darkness are Ghost-type moves. Dark-type moves are just playing dirty.
Yep.
Hey, everyone in the squad, let's go beat the shit out of this guy.
God, beat up such a good move, and I'm glad it's not limited to,
Sneasel.
Sneasel, yeah. Sneasel and Weevil. Because I never end up using a Sneasel, even though I've really wanted to. I just never do, for some reason.
They're very rarely in places where you, actually can use Sneasels.
Yeah.
They tend to be a little too hard to come across.
Don't mind me, just figuring out what Pokemon I need to kick your ass. Please don't turn around. Hey, Lapras is pretty rare. I'm here!
I come from the sea to sing, and now I'm dead.
You'll pay for this, land dweller!
Once I learn to walk, it's over for you hoes. Oh, welcome to the Weird Mouth Gang.
Get out of my sight, Lickitung. How dare you, Lickitung? Ugh, no. I'm kicking this Lickitung out of this cave. You've lost your rights to have this particular Pokemon.
Everything except for the tongue on Lickitung actually kind of cute. I like their design except for the tongue.
The crucial part of the Pokemon.
Actually, the tongue doesn't bother me that much just because it's, not real.
Alright, so right there we got a guard special. You might think that there's nothing significant about that spot, but remember how the Sevi Islands don't exist in Pokemon Red and Blue? So that means you didn't get Moltres there, because it didn't exist. Instead, you got Moltres right there, where I found the guard spec. Moltres is just hanging out on Victory Road. Just inexplicably.
You mentioned the Sevi Islands were cut content from Red and Blue. So does that mean they were originally where Moltres was supposed to be?
Probably. It would make sense, because otherwise they just sort of stuck Moltres in the basement of Victory Road. And, Victory Road's an okay spot for Moltres, because it's Victory Road, it's kind of a big deal. But at the same time, the thing about the other birds is they were in places that not a lot of people inhabited, deep beneath some ocean islands that were, just in the middle of the sea where nobody really went to. They swam closer to Cinnabar or not Vermilion,
I can't
Safari
remember
Zone
either.
Town.
Saffron?
No, that's not Saffron.
That's
It's
the
the one I
center
can never
one, isn't it?
spell.
Fuchsia.
Fuchsia, yes.
Purple.
Purple City. Poison City. But yeah, so yeah, that's where Articuno was, and then you had the abandoned power plant with Zapdos. But then Moltres is apparently just a socialite and hung out in Victory Road, where everyone goes to when they want to be real good at Pokemon.
Yeah. Although putting it on Sevi Islands is weird because that means that 2 of the 3 birds are in that stretch of ocean. And then Zapdos just wasn't invited.
Nah, I prefer the electric house near this river, honestly.
Although thinking about it, maybe Zapdos was also supposed to be in that stretch. Because that would line up with the Pokemon 2000 movie. Sorry, we're talking about the movies now.
But yeah, and then I guess Moltres is also technically out of Kanto, being at the Sevi Islands and all. Anyway, say hi to Kingler, because Kingler's waving at you. Yes, you, the viewer.
Kingler is also a Pokemon that I wish I used more often than I did.
They are horrifying.
So many Pokemon that I just think are cool, but I never use for one reason or another. And I can't do multiple runs of Let's Go because I'd lose my Mew.
Also, it's worth noting, for Kingler at least, Kinglers, I think around this point, start having Vice Grip, which is a one-hit kill move. It's very annoying. So if you're playing a Nuzlocke run, sorry. I don't think one-hit kill moves are, like, super common anymore because they realized it's kind of a bad idea.
Yeah, high risk, high reward is one thing. It's another thing when, like, the enemy benefits a lot more from them than you do.
Also, apparently Vice Grip has 30 PP, what the fuck? That's illegal. Also fun fact about Vice Grip is, back in this gen, pretty much up to, I think, the modern day, it was spelled V-I-C-E grip, like crime. Which, I kind of like that, but V-I-S-E is actually technically more correct, because, like, a vice is a fucking tool that you'd use to clamp down on things. So, makes more sense, but again, I do prefer crime grip.
Kinglers just do a lot of crime. Oh,
I'm just happy to be here.
have you seen my teacher Lapras? She taught me to sing opera. Oh, now I'm gone.
I'm going down to hell to meet her. One day you too shall join us in the blistering inferno.
Oh, I'll show you just how good you are. Not!
You better have burn heal.
I don't know how Hotaru didn't just evaporate on the spot after that amazing diss.
This is where I wish I could draw, because I would write down all these Pokemon and then draw them, like, freaking out around her.
Just do what most people do and take that one meme and just...
GIF.
Yeah, just paste some Pokemon over the faces there.
I don't know if the video editing software I use has facial tracking, though.
Well, you gotta do it the old-fashioned way, frame by frame.
Like I did for that one GIF of your character in Monster Arts.
Hey you! Get over here, nerd!
Oh god, I'm 5 times weak to this.
And that was a crit. Well, down I go. Well, I don't know how much of a fucking good job I'm gonna do.
I don't like my odds.
I have a smaller mushroom than that guy had. What do you want from me?
That just means there's less of you to catch fire.
You showed me just how good I was. Not. Anyway, that's just my favorite trainer in the game. I want her to become the champion. God, I'm back to this. Like, God, this kind of kills me. Again, such a good lead up to Victory Road, and then this. The usual cave theme does not inspire confidence. Thankfully, though, we're actually pretty much out. We have but one more challenge left to face. And that's the Tag Team Champs. I don't know if two people can be one champ, but whatever, Ray and Tyra are gonna try. With Nidoqueen and Nidoking. Sadly, Nidoqueen had to sit this one out after having water puked on her.
I'm going to join my open mouth friends.
I have a closed mouth. I will be the victorious one, I will be. It's not very effective, you fool. That was actually the worst move you could have done. Go enjoy your subscription to PlayStation Network. Anyway, it's a really good thing that the leftovers activated before poison. Anyway, God, I'm so glad the critical sound effect is just a few bleeps in the newer games, and then they just stop.
Yeah, for a while they tried like mixing it into the actual music.
Yeah, that was actually rad.
Rather than just da-doom, da-doom, da-doom.
Yeah, that it wasn't the best choice, but you know what? I respect Black and White's choice to do that and make it into a song. Greatness remains elusive. Well, I guess time to live in this cave forever. So this guy will teach you Double Edge if you want it, but I'm not going to take it because it's one of those you get hurt by using it moves.
As implied by the name.
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Those moves are a lot more useful than I used to think. I used to be scared of using them.
So, with Victory Road done, we've arrived at Indigo Plateau. This lead-up itself way more exciting than any part of Victory Road. And so here we are, in the Great Halls of the Indigo Plateau. We absolutely need to heal up. And with that, next time on Pokemon FireRed, it's all come down to this. We're going for the Elite Four challenge.